Tonight, Zachary Rolfe's murder trial moved to Darwin. We have a reaction from the alleged victim's family. We're live to a community forum as residents plead for a solution to escalating crime. The police commissioner reveals his Christmas wish for Territory motorists this year. Health groups reject the latest ploy to win over support for the Dan Murphy's development. And inside the Territory's new Emergency Operations Centre, just in time for cyclone season.
This is 9 News Darwin.
Good evening. Zachary Rolfe has had a small victory ahead of his murder trial. His lawyers granted an application to have the case moved to Darwin. As 9's Zarisha Bradley reports, Kumanjai Walker's family can still listen in from Yuendamu or Alice Springs.
Mischievous and inflammatory pre-trial publicity was the main argument for Zachary Rolfe's murder trial to be moved to Darwin. His legal team concerned reporting may have tainted the jury pool in Alice Springs. Mr Rolfe is facing one count of murder after the shooting death of Warlpiri teenager Kumanjai Walker in November 2019. The 19-year-old was shot 3 times during an attempted arrest after allegedly stabbing Mr Rolfe with a pair of scissors. While Rolfe will plead not guilty to the charge, his lawyers remained tight-lipped about today's decision. Mr Officer, are you pleased with the outcome today?
No comment, thank you.
How's your client doing? The Northern Territory Police Association releasing a statement respecting the decision and upholding its continued support to Mr Rolfe as he prepares to vigorously defend his charge. A statement on behalf of Mr Walker's family said our community understands the accused had a right to make the application and respects the processes and considered decision of the court this morning. We will work hard to make it work next year. Informing the public there will be community access to the court in Yuendamu and Alice Springs at the trial. In handing down the decision, Acting Justice Dean Mildren told the court witnesses can also give evidence externally. His reasons for the decision won't be made public until after the trial. Mr Rolfe's murder trial will begin in July next year in the Darwin Supreme Court for an estimated 5 weeks.
A group of angry Northern Suburbs residents facing a crime surge are right now pleading with stakeholders for a solution. Talia Sava's at the Community Forum in Malak, and Talia, the locals have organised this themselves.
They have, PT. The people of Malak and Karama who've gathered here tonight say this meeting isn't just about voicing concerns over crime, it's about paving a way forward. Now, the meeting started a little over an hour ago. So far, we've seen just over 70 frustrated residents show up and walk through those doors. They're currently meeting with key stakeholders, including NT Police, government representatives, Department of Housing, Territory families, as well as council. And we had a similar meeting last month that was hosted by the local member, but only 8 people were allowed to attend. It looked a bit different tonight, and I spoke to some locals a little bit earlier. Take a listen to what they had to say.
It's about getting the community to engage and find a solution rather than just blaming other people.
A couple of weeks ago, my car was rifled through. Several of my friends or people I know have had more serious consequences. They've had handbags stolen, car keys stolen.
Now, this forum comes as 9 News has exclusively obtained new crime figures from October, which shows in Darwin a total of assaults are up 14%, home break-ins are down 14%, and the thefts of vehicles are down 30%. But PT, it's a cold comfort for the locals who are here tonight who say that they don't feel safe in their own homes. And what I can hear from the meeting behind me, it's certainly getting heated in there.
Talia Sav live from Malak. Thanks for that update. The Territory's Police Commissioner is tonight warning motorists that authorities are out in force, cracking down on drink and drug driving this festive season. A 3-week operation is now underway, targeting poor driver behaviour across the NT.
As you enjoy the festive period, plan ahead, get a sober bob, get somebody else in your family to come and collect you, use a taxi, use an Uber, get home safely.
Despite less visitors to the NT in 2020, the road toll remains similar to previous years. Critics of the Dan Murphy's development have welcomed Woolworths' independent panel review into the engagement and consultation process for the proposal. However, health groups are sceptical about the timing of the decision and insist their objections will remain the same.
The fact that we've got the highest alcohol consumption rates per capita
for anywhere in Australia, and we beat Russia, by the way. They're the issues of concern to me.
Ms Havden's pleading with those supporting the megastore to consider the consequences of more alcohol in the community.
How many of these people that are, calling for Dan Murphy's actually want to have all of the associated problems? Because I'm sure that they don't.
Woolworths has committed to establishing a reasonable service and consumption plan. It would ensure the proposed Dan Murphy's has the most stringent alcohol control policies in the country. The federal government has announced it will offer up to $50 million in incentives to speed up exploration and production in the Beetaloo Basin. The funding would be available to companies if exploration occurs before the end of June 2022. Grants will cover 25% of exploration costs, capped at $7.5 million per well, with a maximum of 3 wells per venture. The coalition hopes it will speed up development of the onshore gas industry by 2 years. Protect Country Alliance has slammed the funding, calling it an epic waste of public money, which will threaten the environment. Australia's unemployment rate has fallen from 7.6%, that is 7%, that's it, to 6.8%, with 90,000 new workers finding jobs during November. And the federal budget update shows the recovery is well underway as the economy bounces back faster than expected.
'Tis the season to be jolly.
Australia is opening up and the recovery is underway.
The Treasurer unwrapped a Christmas gift in his budget update.
Unemployment is lower. GDP growth is higher. And there are improvements to the budget bottom line.
With the iron ore price soaring over $200 a tonne and spending on JobKeeper $11 billion lower than expected, the budget deficit for this financial year has been revised down from $214 billion to a still historically high $198 billion, and gross debt will pass $1 trillion by 2022. And in the word of 2020, the spending has been unprecedented.
$251 billion.
But it was all for one purpose.
Not just to keep people in jobs right now, but to ensure the strength of the recovery and that those jobs are there into the long term as well.
And early this year, Treasury predicted massive job losses.
15% without JobKeeper.
Treasury is still projecting unemployment at 7.25% this year. But in good news, today the official rate dropped from 7% in October to 6.8% in November. There is another way to read these budget numbers.
Record deficits, a record $1 trillion in debt, weaker wages growth, almost 1 million unemployed.
The economy-wide recovery hides a bleak Christmas for many.
2.2 million Australians who still don't have a job or can't find the hours that they need to support their loved ones.
This is a fragile recovery. It could be scuttled by more trade sanctions from Beijing or a resurgence of COVID-19.
The road ahead is challenging, very challenging.
Nervous eyes now look to Sydney. Chris Ullman, 9 News.
The US is trying desperately to build confidence in COVID-19 vaccines, with many Americans still hesitant to roll up their sleeves. The campaign suffered a setback after a healthcare worker had an allergic reaction to the jab.
More than 300,000 Americans dead in the pandemic, yet it's still a battle to convince the many doubters that getting a vaccine is necessary, safe and in their interests. Scenes like this are helping frontline medical workers today getting their shots.
Clear that many Americans are learning that these vaccines are safe and extraordinarily effective.
But there are still concerns with an Alaskan healthcare worker suffering an allergic reaction to the Pfizer jab. And polls show about a quarter of the US population, that's more than 83 million people, say they won't get vaccinated. The country's leaders on both sides of politics are trying to change that. Vice President Pence today announcing he'll publicly receive the shot at the White House later this week. And Joe Biden's vaccination is also in the pipeline.
And when I do it, I'll do it publicly, and so you all can actually witness my getting it done.
That's just one of the many issues confronting the Biden-Harris team. Unlike Australia, where people breaking pandemic rules faced stiff fines, no US government, state or federal, could successfully enforce that here. So Vice President-elect Kamala Harris today took on the role of convincer-in-chief.
This is a moment for everyone to sacrifice, and if we're going to get through this together as a country, then we all have to do it.
There's now just over a month until the transfer of power. Donald Trump's plans to move from the White House to his private club Mar-a-Lago in Florida, well, they're well underway, but not so fast. Now his neighbours are saying they don't want him there. And nor do they want all the disruptions that go along with having a former president right next door. They've written to the City Council reminding everyone that Donald Trump signed an agreement in 1993, and that saw him lose his right to live there permanently when he converted it to a private club. In Los Angeles, Robert Penfold, 9 News.
Now to some breaking news, and the COVID outbreak in New South Wales is worsening significantly as we go to air. From 5 cases in 24 hours, reports are now coming through that the number has just jumped to 17. Residents in affected areas are told to stay home.
Avalon Bowling Club, Sunday afternoon. In this crowd is a local aged care worker, and she's unaware she's rocking away in the middle of a super spreading event.
She knew, because she was at the bowler on Sunday, that somebody there had been tested positive.
Another woman already infected by COVID-19 is there as well. A harmless night on the town, allowing coronavirus to get its hooks in on the northern beaches, causing chaos and queues a week out from Christmas.
Well, I just don't want it to destroy our Christmas.
Sydney's northern beaches cluster is climbing. 5 cases in 24 hours. A musician from French's Forest, a female aged care worker from Palm Beach and her partner, along with an Avalon couple.
My blood pressure hasn't gone up, my pulse rate has not gone up, it's just doing what we do in New South Wales, that is handling the cases.
A different event, this one at Avalon RSL on Friday, is believed to be where all of this started. The band Nothing Too Serious played, the drummer and 2 others in the crowd caught COVID. New South Wales Health confident the source of the outbreak was at that gig, they just don't know who it is.
They're not the source of the infection. We need to find the source of the infection.
That's why contact tracers are in overdrive to keep people at home. They don't believe the virus was silently bubbling away on the beaches. Instead, it was introduced late last week.
The sewage surveillance was negative on the 10th of December.
The aged care worker works at Pittwater Palms at Avalon.
She's distraught. Her and her partner are both come down with it, and she's really upset.
Residents are all being tested, but Aveo, the operator, forbids staff from working across different homes.
One of our staff members, perhaps could have passed it on to some of the elderly and, particularly vulnerable people. Just the fickle finger of fate, isn't it?
New South Wales Health has issued a directive that all nursing homes on the northern beaches will shut to visitors for at least 48 hours.
Until we identify the source of the infection and feel more confident that we have it under control.
The community around Avalon and Palm Beach is reeling, with hundreds of close contacts forced into 2 weeks isolation, which means they won't be out until New Year's Eve. Chris O'Keefe, 9 News.
And as I mentioned, as that story was recorded, that number has now gone from 5 to 17. More to come, I'm sure. Now, 2 more people have tested positive to COVID-19 after arriving in Darwin on board a repatriation flight. A 2-year-old and 16-year-old girl touched down from Chennai on Tuesday. They remain in the care of the AUSMAT team at Howard Springs. A total of 35 people from the flights have now tested positive. Another plane arrived in Darwin today, the very first from Paris. There was hardly a dry eye in the Supreme Court this afternoon as a young woman spoke about what it's like to lose a brother. The 8-year-old Catherine Boyd died after falling from a moving caravan. The man responsible is tonight behind bars.
He was as cheeky as they come, a little lover of fishing, hunting and rugby, with an infectious smile you'll never forget. A life taken too soon.
We just miss him and
We would like him to come home, but obviously he's not coming home.
8-year-old Bretson Payne's family now fighting for justice because of one man's stupid mistake. In June, a 32-year-old man was driving a ute towing a caravan on Edith Farms Road with 7 unrestrained children. Travelling at over 60 kilometres an hour, Bretson fell out the door of the moving caravan. His sister Brianne jumped out, cradling him in her arms as he passed away.
These rules are put in place so young lives aren't lost, you know, and getting justice for Bretson will not only give me like some sort of closure, but just to send a message, to the world that, lives can be lost for doing stupid things.
The man behind the wheel, Jonathan Igescu, pleaded guilty to causing Bretson's death. He also pleaded guilty to driving the day before with a child on his windscreen. His brother and neighbours supported him in court today.
Is there anything you guys would like to say on Jonathan's behalf?
The matter before the court.
Mr Igescu will spend his first night behind bars where he'll remain until he's sentenced on Monday. Zarisha Bradley, 9 News.
Lismore on the New South Wales North Coast has been declared a natural disaster area after more than a month's worth of rain fell in just hours. Tonight, residents are on edge with further flood and evacuation warnings issued this afternoon.
Head on into the danger zone. A car turns floating prison.
This is just craziness.
Heroes quickly at hand, wading in waist deep before carrying the woman across rising floodwaters.
She just finished her shift at the local charity, and I think just by the way she does her stuff, she's turned left, drove straight in the water, and had no idea that the water had come up so fast.
Lismore locals caught off guard by more than a month's rain in 2 hours. Businesses inundated by a metre of water. Today, high-pressure hoses, brooms and specialist pumps from Sydney helping to drive the water out. An estimated $20 million worth of damage in the city so far.
This is a region that there's no stranger to floods, and they're a very resilient community.
Today, the Prime Minister and Premier briefed by the local SES, declaring Lismore a natural disaster area. Further south in Bowraville, another blow for a family who lost their home in last year's bushfires.
Never in a million years would have thought that. I would have been watching my container floating away and my water tank floating away.
The system now tracking north, today battering the Gold Coast, turning deadly in Queensland's Southern Downs. Farmer Paul Stevenson washed away while trying to save his cattle. Tonight, a new evacuation warning for the New South Wales Tweed River towns of Tumbulgum and Kongdong. Elizabeth Bryan, 9 News.
Now let's check out the local situation with Zarisha Bradley. And Zarisha, the Darwin area has seen any effects of the monsoon trough yet?
No, not yet, PT. It was a drizzly start to the day which turned into a mostly cloudy day, but that's all about to change as the monsoon trough develops. The eastern top end, including the Arnhem and Carpentaria districts, have been issued a severe weather warning for heavy rainfall, damaging winds and abnormally high tides. A tropical low is likely to form on Friday, where it's expected to move into the western parts of the top end, including Darwin. PT, I'll be back later in the Bulletin with your full forecast.
Look forward to it. Thank you, Zarisha. Ahead in 9 News, native title rights ignored. Now the holders of the MacArthur River pastoral lease have launched a compensation claim. Plus a sneak peek at the Territory's new multi-million-dollar emergency operations centre. And we hear from the family of a father charged with the murder of his wife.
Ash's amazing journey.
I'm very proud to have this.
Moving again after having a 3D printed implant in her leg.
It has the potential to make new bone. It just needs to be told where to grow.
This really is the way of the future and I'm a part of that.
Ash has been nothing short of spectacular.
A current affair next.
The world is an amazing place, and we'll show you the best of it.
And that's simply something you don't see every day.
From the most exotic locations.
That's incredible.
To our own backyard.
The world's largest coral reef, right at your doorstep.
Great getaways. Tonight, 7:30 on 9.
Love exploring the Territory? If you do, it's good to know that with TIO Comprehensive Car Insurance, If you have an accident covered by your policy, we're here to help with the reasonable costs of towing, as well as your additional emergency accommodation and travelling costs. So get out there and explore. Get a quote today. TIO, we're for Territorians.
Gateway has the greatest gifts this Christmas. Kick some goals with new sports gear, find the coolest sunnies, or snap up a flashy camera. It's time to party. Make it the best Christmas ever at Gateway.
The plate clearance is on now at Bridge Toyota with incredible offers on popular models. Save thousands with free on roads across the new Hilux 4x4 range. Or how about 3.9% across the CHR, Corolla Hatch and Corolla Sedan range. Starting from $88 per week for the Corolla Ascent Sport Hatch Manual with Toyota Access. Race into Bridge Toyota, Darwin and Palmerston as these offers won't last.
Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Harvey Norman, home for Christmas with the best gift ideas. This Lavazza Moto Mio Smeg Capsule Coffee Machine, only $349. Get $50 cash back on this Philips Twin Turbo Star Digital Air Fryer. The Remington Rapid Cut Turbo for quick and easy grooming, only $77. New from Hermetics, the Select Plus Percussion Massager, only $149. Or they'll love this Dyson Supersonic Gift Edition. Much more in store and online. Plus, get 60 months interest free with a bonus gift card. Now at Harvey Norman.
All the highs, all the lows. It's always a roller coaster. Hold on tight. Here we go. On Millionaire Hot Seat, weekdays on 9. 9 News Darwin, proudly brought to you by TIO, insurance for Territorians.
The native title holders of the MacArthur River pastoral lease have lodged a compensation claim in the federal court. The Northern Land Council lodged the claim on their behalf over the effects of the MacArthur River project on their native title rights and interests. Traditional owners say sacred and significant sites have been damaged by mining operations and feel their interests have been ignored by successive territory and federal governments. The coronavirus pandemic has fast-tracked the opening of a new multi-million-dollar emergency operations centre in the Territory. Tonight, 9 News takes you inside the purpose-built facility, allowing for more hands on deck when disaster strikes.
Cyclones, floods and bushfires. The NT no stranger to danger.
Unfortunately, the harsh reality is the Northern Territory is subject to a myriad of emergency situations.
But this year, a battle of pandemic proportions.
We needed to expand, and we need to expand quickly.
The Territory's epicentre for emergency response moving from this to this. Today marking the official opening of the new $2 million hub inside the Peter Macaulay Centre in Darwin. Fitted out for our police, fire and emergency services in just 5 weeks.
To move into a facility like this, which is very much up there with the rest of the country, is probably somewhat overdue, but we're very, very pleased with the outcome.
Boasting a capacity more than double the former HQ, there's now room for 70 people physically distanced. The centre's also built to withstand a Category 5 cyclone and equipped with modern technology.
Particularly if there's broad loss of power across the whole of the jurisdiction that we're trying to treat, then having this facility here to have the capability all in-house is one that we desperately need.
A win for both those committed to keeping us safe and those they could soon be helping. Talia Sav, 9 News.
Some good news. A horrific end to a marriage of more than 50 years with a husband accused of stabbing his wife to death in their New South Wales home. There was no history of violence and police are investigating if the woman was killed almost a week before her body was found.
There were no warning signs, no red flags, and no chance for family to say goodbye.
It was a shock for everyone. Sorry.
When relatives spoke to Maria Ratke last week, she was her happy, bubbly self.
She said, tell everyone we love them and we care for them, and it was just any other phone call if we didn't know it was going to be the last.
After a week without contact, police went knocking at the couple's Station Street home, discovering Heinz Ratke unconscious with knife wounds, his wife of more than 50 years found dead in their bedroom, stabbed 16 times. Police allege Heinz killed Maria up to 6 days earlier before several attempts to end his own life.
A beautiful woman, she wouldn't hurt a fly. She was such a beautiful person.
Neighbours thought they were holidaying because the curtains were drawn and house was dark. Heinz Ratke wasn't known to police until this week, and there was no history of domestic violence between the couple. But Maria's family believes she would have kept it secret even if there had been. Senior police are sick and tired of losing lives to domestic violence, today making an impassioned plea for family, friends, neighbours and even strangers to speak up.
Things that you just think are not quite right, do something about it. Talk to your friend about that. That phone call that you make may very well save somebody's life.
Tiffany Genders, 9 News.
And if you or anyone you know is a victim of domestic violence, help is available. Call 1-800-RESPECT, that's 1-800-737-732. London has plunged into its first day of new COVID restrictions, with hospitality and entertainment industries to be all shut down over Christmas and New Year. Cases are continuing to soar across Europe, forcing France to impose an 8 p.m. curfew and Germany to start its second national lockdown. 14 people have been found guilty of being accomplices in the 2015 terror attack on the Charlie Hebdo offices in Paris. 17 people were killed in the horror at the magazine and a Jewish supermarket. Following a 3-month-long trial, the men and women were sentenced to prison terms ranging from 5 to 30 years. Still to come in 9 News, flooding claims the life of a popular grazier washed away trying to save his cattle. The bombshell report, which has found a harsh COVID lockdown may have been illegal. And the moment these bungling carjackers get more than they bargained for.
Excavation blues. The builder in hot water after this home suddenly collapsed. But was it just the tip of the iceberg? A current affair next.
Gateway's ready to party this Christmas. Glam up from head to toe. Step out in new party wear and be entertained in style. It's time to party. Make it the best Christmas ever at Gateway.
Ridge's Palmerston Poolside Bar is open all weekend with free use of pool. The last Sunday of the month brings live music and brunch till 2 p.m. Check our Facebook page for more details. Weekends at Ridge's, why not?
Shanae was this a bubbly little person. She loved her horses, animals, any animals she loved. Thursday morning she left. She said goodbye to the kids and gave them a kiss, and the boys heard something over the radio that a young girl and a young man had an accident.
As soon as you get into a car, when you have been drinking, that is a weapon. You're putting everyone at risk, not just yourself. And all she did was leave to go to work. And now we're never going to see her again.
The Barbecues Galore Darwin showroom with the big brands in modern outdoor living. Compare the Ziegler and Brown range, plus offset smokers and low and slow barbecues. See the huge Barbecues Galore's showroom at 660 Stewart Highway, Berrima.
The MacArthur River Mine, producing minerals for products we use every day. Creating job opportunities, developing lifelong skills, remote regions, supporting community projects, investing in locals, nurturing future generations. How are they all connected? Through one natural resources company, Glencore. Discover how we're connecting possibilities every day.
We're announcing something big. The big deal is now on at Mazda, and we're putting value on 2020 plate vehicles front and centre, like run-out CX-3 Neo Sport from $24,990 drive away. Search Mazda offers today.
Tomorrow on Today, after the recession, the Treasurer unveils his plan, what the budget update means for your family, plus the things that made us smile in 2020, and how to survive Christmas without piling on the pounds. See you tomorrow from 5:30.
A farmer has been killed in a last-ditch effort to save his cattle from ferocious flash flooding on Queensland's Southern Downs. His family says the 69-year-old was swept away in a water surge.
A grandfather, husband and man of the land, Paul Stevenson remembered for his final act of selflessness, killed trying to save his family's cattle from rising floodwaters.
6 inches of rain up at the head has caused the river at Kalane to come on up.
The 69-year-old was at his property when 170 millimetres of rain fell in less than an hour last night. This was the Condamine River.
We were thinking of crossing, coming in, but no, this is it. We're not going anywhere.
John Grayson is Paul's brother-in-law.
He was hit by a wall of water.
He says Paul did what any farmer would do, racing to his family's paddocks along Condamine River Road around 8:30 last night, moving cattle to higher ground.
It was my brother's cattle that they were trying to rescue.
Within minutes, Paul was swept away inside his ute by a raging torrent of water.
And we're not talking about anyone who went into floodwaters. We're talking about a freak accident.
Sparking a major rescue operation.
The fireys here and rescue ready.
A large part of the town, police and emergency services worked around the clock to find our Paul.
Eventually, they found him inside his ute.
You know, this is a tragedy so close to Christmas.
His wife Colleen telling 9 News, last night was the hardest of our lives. We lost our heart and head of our home, our Paul, and our lives will never be the same.
He loved simple things in life. He just loved living on the farm. He's loved by all of us.
Annie Puller, 9 News.
A damning Ombudsman's report has found the Victorian government may have broken the law by imposing an immediate hard lockdown on 9 public housing towers in July. Residents say it vindicates many of their concerns, but the government is refusing to apologise.
It was a Saturday afternoon in July when 3,000 public housing residents were told their homes were being locked down immediately.
I've got young children in the flats and it was too quick. I didn't know that it was coming. I didn't have time to get diapers and stuff.
With no notice and what many considered an intimidating police presence, some residents were left without essential medicines or food. In a report released today, Ombudsman Deborah Glass was scathing.
It appears to me to be contrary to Victorian law, specifically the Charter of Human Rights and Responsibilities Act. I don't suggest that the lockdown as such would have been a contravention of people's human rights. It was the immediacy of that.
But the government's rejected that finding.
We did not act illegally.
We were in the room and we had to make a very tough call and we made it. And it saved lives.
The report reveals that Deputy Chief Health Officer Annalise Van Diemen was given just 15 minutes to review the proposed directives before the announcement was made. She later told the Ombudsman that delaying the intervention by 24 hours would not have made a hugely significant difference in containing the outbreak.
Public housing residents were treated like no other Victorian had been treated, and that's a pretty awful thing for people, and the government should apologise for that.
An apology was one of 10 recommendations made by the Ombudsman, but despite conceding mistakes were made, the Housing Minister says that won't be happening.
We make no apology for saving people's lives.
The only thing we wanted to honestly hear today was the minimum thing of the government apologising, and that didn't happen, which honestly adds to the that frustration that the community had.
And some residents are now considering a class action. Andrew Lund, 9 News.
Not even Mother Nature could put out a factory fire that's been burning for 26 hours and counting. Authorities still can't enter the site because it's too dangerous. And although the blaze is under control, the job is far from over.
This facade was the only thing left standing, surviving the fire, but now too dangerous to stay. No surprise, considering this is what it looked like yesterday. Cardboard and plastic, compacted and stacked. There is, or more accurately was, enough to cover 3 football fields. That's why, when it burned, there was no stopping it.
We still can't get in there. It's too dangerous for our staff to make access there. The building is, pretty much collapsed.
The fire is under control, but the job is far from over. Authorities need to pull out each individual pallet of this recycling material, break it apart, and then water it down. That will take several days, and although it sounds strange, the showers didn't help as much as you'd think.
I think the rain helped with dispersing the smoke at the time. It probably didn't do anything to extinguish the fire.
Good thing it controlled the smoke. It was thick, black and toxic, still seeping out today and likely to continue for a few more. The surrounding buildings and businesses are unaffected. As for the recycling facility, the owners will only have ash and rubble to return to. Alex Heinke, 9 News.
It was a carjacking that went horribly wrong the moment 2 bandits jumped off their scooter with pistol in hand. The driver of this white car in Mexico immediately hits the gas and clips the men's moped. Not satisfied with the job, he flips it into reverse and comes back to teach the bandits a lesson or two that crime simply doesn't pay. Still ahead in 9 News, the retail supercentre processing your last-ditch Christmas orders in just 8 minutes. The groundbreaking new treatment for people with peanut allergies. And the sunscreen shock, leaving Australians unprotected this summer.
Ash's amazing journey.
I'm very proud to have this.
Moving again after having a 3D printed implant in her leg. A current affair next.
Been studying all night just so I can make my parents proud. I got to get the top marks, but it's just been really hard. It's going really well. Last night, I had some friends over actually, and we were studying together. My mum and dad think that I'm a star student. I don't know how to tell them that I'm not.
You're really worried about what your parents will think of you.
I haven't really been sleeping well actually. I'm glad I'm telling you. A little conversation goes a long way.
Ridge's Palmerston Poolside Bar is open all weekend with free use of pool. The last Sunday of the month brings live music and brunch till 2 p.m. Check our Facebook page for more details. Weekends at Ridge's, why not?
This summer, flavour your adventure with Macca's. With chunky Mexican salsa and sour cream, the legendary El Maco is back. And so is the saucy McRib, with delicious pork dripping in smoky barbecue rib sauce. Or why not treat yourself to a chicken palmy burger? Wherever summer takes you, we'll be here.
The new look Casuarina All Sports Club. Superb menu, delicious steak menu with entertainment for all ages. Membership available. Come in and see for yourself. Casuarina All Sports Club on Trower Road.
From my family.
From our family.
From my family to yours.
From my family to yours. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Gateway has the greatest gifts this Christmas. Kick some goals with new sports gear. Find the coolest sunnies or snap up a flashy camera. It's time to party. Make it the best Christmas ever at Gateway.
The plate clearance is on now at Bridge Toyota with incredible offers on popular models. Save thousands with free on roads across the new Hilux 4x4 range. Or how about 3.9% across the CHR, Corolla Hatch and Corolla Sedan range. Starting from $88 per week for the Corolla Ascent Sport Hatch manual with Toyota Access. Race into Bridge Toyota, Darwin and Palmerston as these offers won't last.
Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
Update your laundry now at Joyce Main to save time and energy this summer. This Simpson vented dryer is a good choice, just $449. A better option is this Electrolux condenser dryer, which doesn't need venting, for under $900. Or go with the best and a magic 7-star energy rating, this Whirlpool 8kg heat pump dryer, $1,388. Plus get 60 months interest free with a bonus gift card. Now at your local Joyce Main.
An international crisis pushes our teams into uncharted territory.
Put a camera down.
Race across the world tonight, 8:30.
After a brutal year, retailers are predicting bumper trade in the post-Christmas sales, with Australians expected to spend close to $20 billion. Online shopping will still be the biggest winner, reaching record levels.
This is the Iconics giant warehouse in Sydney. And this is the robot that helps process your online order in just 8 minutes. Just as well, it's been a big year with no sign of slowing down.
Customers are really responding to the convenience of online shopping, being able to save time.
The Iconics started selling fashion but extended its range this year to meet growing online demand. It expanded this centre too. At its peak during the Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales week, 800,000 items were picked and packed.
Once people started shopping online, they're addicted to it.
And this is all reflected in Australia Post's latest numbers. Online sales for November were up 55.6% on the previous year to an all-time record. It was also up nearly 17% from October. And online shopping is already more than 20% above the 2019 pre-Christmas peak. Among them, many first-time online shoppers and many who bought more than once a week. Now, the story for traditional retailers has certainly been far less rosy this year, but if these crowds are anything to go by, they're starting to feel a little bit more optimistic. Retailers are predicting Australians will spend $19.5 billion in the post-Christmas sales.
Our post-Christmas retail forecasts are at 3.9% on last year, which is phenomenal given the year that we've had.
Foot traffic in physical stores is likely to be lower this Christmas, so they'll also hope to benefit from online sales.
Of course, as retailers, we're happy as long as people are spending their money.
Eddie Meyer, 9 News.
Researchers at St Vincent's Hospital in Sydney are offering new hope for adult sufferers of peanut allergies. They're recruiting for a new trial which could change the lives of those affected.
Chris Masters was diagnosed with a severe peanut allergy when he was just 2 years old.
I've had a couple of unfortunate run-ins, and once was, in the country in Australia, and I had to be taken to intensive care. Just because they put some nut oil in a salad dressing.
There's currently no cure other than to be vigilant, but researchers from St Vincent's Hospital are beginning a new trial combining allergen immunotherapy and an asthma drug.
We think the drug will make it much more tolerable and safer so that more people who try this peanut oral immunotherapy will get to the desired dose at the end of the trial.
When a person has an allergic reaction, a protein in their blood called immunoglobulin E sticks to white blood cells and releases chemicals such as histamine. The drug being trialled sticks to IgE, preventing the white blood cells from releasing those chemicals, which stops the allergic reaction. This study will see the drug administered in 4 phases, with peanut exposure gradually introduced and then the drug weaned off.
This will not cure them of their peanut allergy, but it will mean that they can go out to eat, be more relaxed when they eat out at restaurants, not worry about cross-contamination.
My mother is from Malaysia and her family's over there. I've never been able to travel there because of the risk of contamination.
It's hoped that by the end of this clinical trial, participants will be able to eat 1 whole peanut without having an allergic reaction. If this trial goes well, the same treatment could be offered for other types of nut and food allergies. Laura Tunstall, 9 News.
The Cancer Council has issued a warning over aerosol sunscreens following new safety tests. Spraying on the lotion instead of the old slip, slop, slap may not give adequate protection.
Mum Emma Fay opts for a sunscreen lotion when outside with daughters Lizzie and Sophie, but she can also see the appeal of aerosol sunscreen sprays.
Because kids do wriggle about, it is actually hard, to get them to comply, so it can seem like the easy option.
Now, however, the Cancer Council is warning against using aerosolised sunscreens, as the quick spritz application mode may not provide adequate UV protection.
Aerosols can be dangerous because they give Aussies a false sense of security.
Queensland University of Technology lab testing found to cover a limb with enough sunscreen to prevent damage, users would need to spend up to 14 seconds spraying each limb. And to protect the whole body would require 90 seconds of spray time.
I can't imagine anyone spending a minute and a half spraying themselves with sunscreen.
9 products were analysed and at least one brand, Woolworths, is already phasing out its aerosol sunscreen. But Banana Boat is standing by the safety of its range. All of our products offer effective sun protection when used as directed on the label. Sunscreen is just one part of the sun safety routine.
It's not the brands that are at fault, it is the method of delivery, and that's something we'll be taking up with regulators in the new year.
Wind can also pose a problem when you've paid up to $18 for a can of sunscreen that simply blows away in the breeze. Emily Rice, 9 News.
Coming up next in sport, he has served the NT on and off the pitch. Now this cricketer is on a new mission. A blistering start for the Aussie bowlers in Adelaide for the first test. And Tim Zhu brutally clears the path to a world title fight.
Excavation blues. The builder in hot water after this home suddenly collapsed. But was it just the tip of the iceberg? A current affair next.
It's Murray Oakley Discount Electrical Retrovision's 24 days of Christmas giveaways with huge store-wide savings and daily prizes, including the Nissan Duke TI Grand Prize. Murray Oakley Discount Electrical Retrovision's 24 days of Christmas giveaways.
The MacArthur River Mine, producing minerals for products we use every day, creating job opportunities, developing lifelong skills, remote regions, supporting community projects, investing in locals, nurturing future generations. How are they all connected? Through one natural resources company, Glencore. Discover how we're connecting possibilities every day.
The new look Casuarina All Sports Club. Superb menu, delicious steak menu with entertainment for all ages. Membership available. Come in and see for yourself. Casuarina All Sports Club on Trower Road.
Seatbelts protect you and your family in a crash or if the car stops suddenly. So saving lives is this simple. Always wear your seatbelt.
There we are. The last juicy tin the drumstick. It's ours. This is no time for manners. The rooster's calling.
Barbecues galore Darwin at 660 Stewart Highway, Berrima, next to Amart. Entertaining this season, Barbecues galore Darwin have the big brands in modern outdoor living. And now, compare the largest Ziegler and Brown range in Darwin. Explore your own new flavours with Barbecues galore's range of offset smokers and low and slow barbecues. Stock up on wood pellets, wood chips or marinades and proudly share your new flavour profiles. See the huge range at 660 Stewart Highway, Berrima, next to Amart. Barbecue better with Barbecues galore Darwin.
Harvey Norman, your destination for outdoor living, with our new season range on outdoor furniture and barbecues. The latest trends in timber, stone, aluminium and wicker, lounges or dining. Find the perfect solution to complete your alfresco area. A versatile collection for the ultimate in choice. Plus, we've got all your barbecue needs covered. Wood fire pizza ovens, smokers, charcoal and pellet grills, even outdoor kitchens you can design yourself. Plus, get 60 months interest free and receive a bonus gift card up to $500. Now, at Harvey Norman.
Go! With Apple CarPlay and Android Auto standard across the Hilux range, you'll be as connected as you are comfortable. Maybe a little too comfortable. The connected and comfortable new Hilux. Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
He's just as cunning as the crimes he solves.
I am better than the police.
Poirot, tonight on Night Jam. This sports report brought to you by Harvey Norman. Shop online, mobile or in-store today.
A familiar face on the NT cricket scene is set to return to the pitch for the first time in almost a decade to take part in the Impaja Cup. Former Minister Ken Vowles will also help develop young Indigenous talent with the aim of discovering the next star.
After stepping away from time in the middle for life in the political spotlight, Ken Vowles has now returned to his sporting passion, which saw him selected as part of the under-19s Australian side. The now almost 50-year-old keen to give back to the game, which opened many doors for him.
We have to look after our own talent, and we need to make sure we lock away our pathways.
One of those pathways is the Impaja Cup, given the green light for mid-February, despite the National Indigenous Cricket Championship being postponed for another year due to COVID. That, he says, will only work in the NT's favour.
It's not a negative for us, it's an actual real positive, because we can just focus on NT, we can focus on having another great tournament, another great week of cultural events.
Vowles has taken up the role as NT Cricket's Indigenous Academy coach. Now he's retired from politics. Not only will he be closely looking at talent from the sidelines at the tournament, he'll also be doing it from the field, lining up alongside his son to play for Tennant Creek.
For him, it's really connecting to his people. I know what it means to him, and he knows what it means to me and my family as well. They'll all come down. And
the Vowles was last night joined by other players set to compete for the Cup for the first training session. While teams are yet to be finalised, the tournament will feature men's and women's divisions, including major centres and communities, as well as cultural events.
I always look forward to it coming around every year, just like the bonding and seeing friends and family and just the relationships that get built from it.
It's hoped with a renewed focus on developing community talent, the next big thing will be discovered.
We want to find the next Darcy Short. You know, Darcy Short's playing for Australia. He's playing in the Big Bash all around the world. He started right here in the Territory, worked through the ranks of NT Cricket, which includes the Impaja Cup.
The Impaja Cup will be played between the 15th to 20th of February. Kathleen Gazzola, 9 News.
Australia's bowlers are turning the screws on India under lights on the first day of the opening test in Adelaide. Mitchell Starc and Pat Cummins both rewarded early, but danger man Virat Kohli is still at the crease. A short time ago, the tourists were 3 for 119.
Australian Test cricketer 459, Cameron Green receiving his baggy one. India has never lost a test after Virat Kohli won a toss.
We've got to have a bat first. Looks like a really nice wicket, nice and hard.
Joe Burns' moment of truth delayed. Big Mitch tickled pink to give India's next big thing an Aussie welcome. Prithvi Shaw gone second ball, Australia in search of a second wicket, but it was just out of reach for the hosts. India holding out for almost an hour until... Australia claiming first session honours, the tourists 2 down at the break. Cummins looking for some post-dinner dessert. Matthew Wade a hair's breadth from snaring the Indian skipper.
Kohli's heart would have been in his mouth for a moment.
Kohli surviving an onslaught, but only just. Deciding attack is the best form of defence.
Goes down the ground, an authoritative stroke from Kohli.
Australia not reviewing a close call off Nathan Lyon's bowling. Kohli would have been in a hot spot of bother.
There's certainly a white mark.
The captain bleeding for the cause, but still there. Cheteshwar Pujara's first boundary took 148 balls. He didn't last much longer.
Is that the chance? Is that the breakthrough?
It was. Australia on top under lights. Mark Gottlieb, 9 News.
Tim Zhu wants a world title fight at the start of next year, and he wants it in Australia. It's a big ask, but his status in world boxing continues to skyrocket after another dominant performance.
A big smile, no scratches or bruises. You wouldn't know Tim Zhu was in a boxing ring last night.
Yeah, I'm all right. Doesn't feel like I was in a fight, which is good.
The Aussie star a class above, annihilating Kiwi Bowen Morgan inside the first round.
Zhu pressing forward, and this is a massive shot. First round, a dominant, destructive performance from Zhu, and his world title shot could be next.
You guys know what's next. And that's the world title here in Sydney, in Australia.
Do you think they'll come here, Tim?
I think if we're doing shows like this, why wouldn't they? You know,
You can fight in front of no one in America, or you can fight here in front of a big crowd.
But is it non-negotiable for you, or if he says you can have the shot at the belt, you got to come here?
Oh, 100%. I'm flying straight there.
In the night's other feature, Paul Gallen continued to prove people wrong. The former NRL star upsetting combat sports legend Mark Hunt with a unanimous points decision, despite being rattled by a few big shots.
I'm not happy I got hit like that, but I'm happy I never went down.
The real shock came post-fight. Gallen calling out former UFC world champion Robert Whittaker.
Someone asked him if he'd fight me, and he said, yeah, I'd fight him, but he wouldn't fight me, and he laughed, like in a way that annoyed me. And, you know, I thought, stuff here, condescending, you know, like, I'll fight you.
What makes you think you could beat him?
Same reason I beat Mark Hunt. No one gave me a chance against Mark Hunt, and here I am.
As for that long-awaited showdown with Sonny Bill Williams...
Sonny Bill's yesterday's hero. Where's he? Where's he?
Jake Duke, 9 News.
Zarisha has your full weather report right after the break. And Zarisha, is there a chance of a cyclone forming this weekend?
PT, there is a low risk one could form near the North Kimberley coast. I'll have those details next.
Nine News Darwin, proudly brought to you by TIO, insurance for Territorians.
Ash's amazing journey.
I'm very proud to have this.
Moving again after having a 3D printed implant in her leg. A current affair next.
Never have I ever had a bite and booked a night. Ridges Palmerston offers contemporary rooms accompanied by poolside relaxation and dining options. We look after our locals, stylish facilities, territory rates and great value packages. Enjoy high teas or dinners from our Asian fusion restaurant. Madame Zha blends the freshest ingredients in a delicious contemporary menu. Ridges Palmerston, a great place to meet. Book through Tourism Top End to use your territory voucher.
Here's a gift that's completely different. Comfort! At Beds R Us, superbly comfortable mattresses like a Queen Miracoil Hillier is now only $9.99. Give the gift of comfort. Beds R Us, the home of Australian-made mattresses.
Been studying all night just so I can make my parents proud. I got to get the top marks, but it's just been really hard. It's going really well. Last night, I had some friends over actually, and we were studying together. My mum and dad think that I'm a star student. I don't know how to tell them that I'm not.
You're really worried about what your parents will think of you.
I haven't really been sleeping well actually. I'm glad I'm telling you. A little conversation goes a long way.
Barbecues galore Darwin at 660 Stewart Highway, Berrima, next to Amart. Entertaining this season, Barbecues galore Darwin have the big brands in modern outdoor living. And now, compare the largest Ziegler and Brown range in Darwin. Explore your own new flavours with Barbecues galore's range of offset smokers and low and slow barbecues. Stock up on wood pellets, wood chips or marinades and proudly share your new flavour profiles. See the huge range at 660 Stewart Highway, Berrima, next to Amart. Barbecue better with Barbecues galore Darwin.
Some Christmas scratchies, please.
Wendy?
Merry Christmas, Steve.
Oh, thanks.
Be an instant Santa with instant scratches.
This weather alert brought to you by Fridgelec. We've got the stock. Be cool and comfortable. Fridgelec, your Dakin air conditioned specialist.
Hello again. The chance of a cyclone forming over the weekend remains low, but we are expected to see some wild weather on Saturday from the monsoon trough. Taking a look at today's temperatures, Darwin reached 31 degrees. The humidity peaked at 96%. Right now it's around 29 degrees in the city. On the satellite, a surface trough and upper level feature are generating areas of cloud and thunderstorms across the eastern states. For the capitals tomorrow, 30 and a shower or two for Brisbane, a possible storm in Sydney with a top of 33, Canberra 29 and a possible shower. Showers also in Hobart, 18 there. Possible early drizzle for Melbourne reaching 19, 23 and cloud clearing in Adelaide and fine in Perth, hitting 32 degrees. In the top end tomorrow, pack those umbrellas. Katherine, 30 degrees and storm activity forecast. Tennant Creek, mostly sunny and a warm 39 tomorrow. Fine in Alice, 38 there. Yulara, mostly sunny and 37. On the Darwin Harbour, seas below half a metre. Variable 10-knot winds expected. A high tide of 6.5 metres after 7:30 a.m, dropping to under a metre after 2:30 p.m. Let's have a look at our catch of the day now. Today's winner is father-daughter duo Darren and Jamie. Darren caught a 120-centimetre blackdew and Jamie a gorgeous coral trout. Great catch, guys. And if you've also snagged a winner, send us your entries to newsphotos@9.com.au. 31 and showers in Palmerston tomorrow. Possible storms expected. It's the same in Humpty Doo, an overnight temp of 25. Darwin will hit 32 degrees tomorrow with those storms to continue. So the next week in Darwin, temperatures still forecast in the low 30s. A monsoon trough is expected to reach Darwin on Saturday. PT, that wild weather should start to pick up from tomorrow night as that monsoon trough approaches.
Yeah, let's hope it's not too wild. But thank you for that, Zarisha. See you tomorrow. Finance and the share market recorded a strong gain today, while the Australian dollar's closing in on a new benchmark. Here's business reporter Chris Kohler.
The COVID cases in northern Sydney hit travel stocks today. Flight Centre, Webjet and Sydney Airport all losing ground. But elsewhere, it was a strong day for the market, hitting 7,000 points for the first time since February. The gains coming from banks and miners once again. And Crown investors weren't worried by news Victoria will bring forward its casino licence review. The shares dropped early but actually finished higher. And a fresh 2.5-year high for the Australian dollar, buying close to 76 US cents, but not as strong today against the euro or pound.
There's Chris Kohler for us once again. That is 9 News for this Thursday. I am Paul Taylor from all of the team here at 9. See you tomorrow from 6 o'clock. The weekend's coming. Good night.